let me ask you this. In this moment, do you know what your heart truly most desires? In a world where we are constantly feeding all of our cravings, it's really interesting to think how strange it is that most of us don't know what we desire. And it reminds me of back in the day, in high school and the cool kids and that sort of like way of being like, I'm so cool, I don't care, whatever. And that was so appealing to be like, wow, you really don't care. You don't care what people think about you. You don't care about what's going on. Great. But here's the thing, is we come to find out the cool kids were not necessarily the happy kids because our desires lead the way to our greatest joy and fulfillment. My name is Sylvia Mordini, and I'm the founder of Life Inspired, and welcome to the Inspire series. So, truly, would you rather be cool and numbed out, or would you rather be happy? And I'd rather be happy, and I've dedicated my life to inspiring you to be happy as well. And so fundamental to that is knowing what you desire. But first, let's really think about the difference between desire and craving. Yes, we are in a world where we don't know what we desire, but we're bombarded with fast fixes to help appease the constant cravings that we have. So a craving is something really short term, something that can be fixed with an immediate action, right? A desire is not that. It's something that is a longing that is connected to something deeper. It's connected to our sense of fulfillment, and it really leads the way to what matters most for you. A craving has nothing to do with what matters most. It's just this almost reptilian part of the brain sort of experience, right? But a desire, now that's going to tell us what really matters. And so going back to the cool kids don't want to act like anything matters because it will make them vulnerable. And so they do everything to avoid being vulnerable. And we as adults will very much often act the same way, so that over time we numb out to what matters most. We numb out to our true heart's desires. And we literally become spiritual amnesiacs where we don't know. And so when I asked you to start off with, what is it in this moment that you truly most desire? And there was nothing, just like blank space. That's not surprising. So be kind and gentle to yourself, because if we've been in a state of numbing and ignoring and turning away and turning off our desires, it's not like I can just ask the question and you might just know all of a sudden, unless you've been doing the work and you're staying in touch with your desires. Then yes, when I started and asked the question, you of course immediately knew, right? But that's where we have to show up and do this work of what really matters to us. And so that vulnerability aspect of, why don't I want other people to know what matters? Well, if I tell people what I most desire, then they know what matters most. And if it doesn't come to play, then how do I appear to them? Will my disappointment cause feelings of shame? Or what if I get what I most desire, where my feelings of guilt trigger other people? Am I afraid for people to know that I'm actually activated and receiving what I desire most? Or am I embarrassed when what I desire most is not happening in the timeline that I most desire it to come in? And so if we let people in on our desires, there's this whole experience of vulnerability, whether or not you receive what you're desiring in a certain timeline, or it's delayed, or it appears in a slightly different fashion, right? You could desire this job that's truly fulfilling, and then this opportunity arrives and it's in a different state, right? Um, but it's amazing. It's everything you always wanted in a career, in a job. It's just a little inconvenient. Not to say that you can't move. I moved from Ecuador to the United States, moved from Chicago to Seattle, Seattle to California, California to Florida. I've lived abroad in Bali. It's slightly inconvenient, but it's not the end of the world, especially if it's on the way to your desires. So that vulnerability of exposing what you really want and what really matters can feel overwhelming if you're not accustomed to being transparent and authentic in the way that you show up in the world, because desire and authenticity go hand in hand, right? Living an authentic life, we are not editing and trying to deny what we desire. If you're living truly authentically, then you know your heart's true desires and you're living according to them, to manifest them and be magnetic for your desires. And that's a really important part of manifestation. It's so often why people say to me, like, oh, but nothing's manifesting. Yeah, but like, how tuned in are you to your true desires? Not what other people want you to do, not what other people expect you to do, but what you truly want. And so therein lies why we can get so easily disconnected from our desires, is we can convince ourselves it's okay to do what other people want. It's okay right now to, get only half a life or 25% of a life, not like a full life. We feel bad about asking for all that we want in our job, in our relationships, in where we live, in our lifestyle, in our sense of freedom and autonomy and sovereignty. We can feel really bad about expansion. And so we play small and we go, yeah, 25%, 50% of a life that's enough. That's okay. But it's not. And it's not going to last the test of time. There will be points where we will hit a wall because we're not fulfilled, because we are not in alignment with our desires. And even if we're checking off boxes and getting stuff that society thinks is important, or what your family told you is important, you need the big house, you need the fancy car, you need the bigger job title, you need to make more money, you need to impress your friends with all the things that you have, and you're doing it. I mean, I did that. I achieved all that. But then I was like, wow, I've done all the things I'm supposed to do, but I'm not really happy. I've done all this stuff, and there's still something missing. What is missing if I've done it all right? What is missing if I've been a good girl and I've checked the boxes according to what society and my family and my friends say I'm supposed to do? I have done it. What is missing? Why am I not happy? What's missing is it's not aligned to my desires. Just because I can and I did do all those things, if it wasn't aligned to what I actually really wanted, which was over here, what I desired the most because it really matters, then I won't be in alignment. And I could do all this stuff, but it won't be fulfilling. And that's what happens over and over again if we're not tuned into our desires. And telling people what matters, yes, it's vulnerable. Telling yourself is vitally important. So what if we're creating some vulnerability, one that connects us in more intimate ways to other humans? But if we don't even admit to ourselves what we most desire, there is no way that it will manifest, that it will become our reality. And underneath that, to unpack, is, are you afraid of admitting your desires because you don't think you deserve them, that you're not worthy of them, that you haven't done enough to demonstrate to the universe that you deserve them now? Have you not met the prerequisites or the conditions that you think you have to meet? That is all the stuff of what gets us stuck in a struggle stress trap, right? If we are in alignment with our desires, it doesn't feel like so much of a struggle. And it's not like this constant hustle, right? And you can look at your job. You could be doing a job, doing it great, performing fantastically well, being paid well for it, and yet feel really unfulfilled because it has no alignment to your desires. You could instead find a job, a career, an occupation that is in complete alignment with your desires, and even making less money. You could have greater fulfillment. Even in having less accolades and fancy titles, you could feel more happy and joyful and stoked about your very existence, where you love your day and you love your life. Because doing this over here, not tied to desire, no matter how big you make this, how fancy it gets, if this is literally what you want and are not tied together in any way, then you're just never going to be as happy as you could be, because it has to be tied to desire. Desire leads the way. It's like the GPS of our heart saying, go in this direction, not this direction. And if you tap into that GPS, it's not going to lead you astray. And you're going to find that you let go of the hustle, you let go of the struggle, and life gets a whole lot less stressful than being in that stress trap over here. But it has to be aligned with desire. Again, desires are not the same as cravings, and they are connected to your truth as the GPS of your heart. They lead the pathway of living a life that's fulfilled and peaceful and joyful with this baseline contentment. And so when you look at desire versus action, you'll automatically know. And so ask yourself right now, what is the most audacious desire that you have? What is the most audacious desire you have right now? And write it down. Write it down, even press pause on this video. What is the most audacious desire? Or go to my website and download the free desire worksheet that takes you through a series of exercises and also offers you daily affirmations. Desire affirmations, of course, designed to help you stoke your understanding and connection to desire. But now take it a step further. That you wrote about your most audacious desire, put it in comments. I dare you to pledge it out, to say it out loud, to be seen for it. And then tell two friends. Tell two friends what your most audacious desire is. And notice the feelings. If you're feeling resistance to vocalizing and writing down and letting it be seen in some capacity what your most audacious desire is. Is it because you're literally afraid of making it matter? And if you write it down and now you admit to what matters most to yourself, you'll find that you want to make changes, that maybe you realize just in this moment, you don't want to be in the job that you're in. You want improvements and changes to the relationship that you're in. You want to live somewhere differently. You want to live a different lifestyle than what you're living. And that's what we're afraid of, is that it's literally going to point out all the ways that we just settle for 25% of a life or 50% of a life when you deserve 100% of a life, right? So really consciously feel into it, download the worksheet, and stay tuned into your desires. One last practice and exercise I want to leave you with is pick a day or pick an hour, either one. And for that hour or that day, only do what you desire. And so ask yourself, what do I desire? You wake up, what do I desire? What do I desire right now? And give it to yourself. And watch how all the programming, oh, but I should do this, but I should do that, but I should do this other thing, and I should do. So for that hour or that day, put aside the shoulds, and you could even change that. Instead of should, change it to could, right? And listen and action what you desire. And then notice and write down at the end of the day or the hour how you feel. Notice if you feel lighter, more exuberant, more passionate, happier, more jovial, from simply taking a little time and only doing what you desire. And I'm going to tell you, at first it's hard because we've been so disconnected from desire that you might be like, well, oh no, but wait, I should do the special smoothie in the morning. I have to do this, all the have-dos and I shoulds. That you kind of have to excavate and be like, oh wait, you know what I desire right now? Is I just desire to go for a little walk. Okay, then go for a walk. And then after that, I desire, what do you desire? Do you want something to eat or to drink? Not because you should and you have to do it like this. And this is different than a craving, right? The short-term fix. This is not like, something, it's so different. You'll know. But watch how there's a part of you that the stronger it's been made, the habit of denying desire, the harder it is to listen to the voice of desire. But if you just practice, it's going to get louder, that voice, and you'll remember. And that's what I hope for all of you, is that you remember your desires and that you live a life that's led by your desires. A life where you love yourself, you love your day, and you love your life. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today. If inspired, please subscribe to my channel, click below, and don't forget to get the notifications. Every week I come to you on Wednesdays with a new video as part of my Inspire series. And right now, go out there and enjoy your desires. Much love to you.